So let me paint you the picture. I'm sitting in the crappiest conference room of our so-called mid-sized New York property management firm, slurping the world's worst iced coffee and staring out at a skyline that I swear is mocking me. $5 billion in assets, but we can't get chairs that don't squeak every time you shift your butt. Classic. Anyway, my name's Jake. And this is the story of how chasing a fatter paycheck in asset management nearly turned my life into the ultimate Florida real estate circus. I know, you're thinking, Jake, what does NYC have to do with Florida? Just wait. Because if you thought New York real estate was wild, you haven't seen what happens when a desperate New Yorker like me gets lured down south by promises of sunshine, six-figure salaries, and spoiler alert, total chaos. So here's where it starts. I make about $140K a year with a 20% bonus if I play nice and don't call out our CEO's latest haircut disaster during quarterly reviews. Not bad, right? But after 5 years wrangling tenants who think their leaky faucet is a national emergency and dealing with owners who want granite countertops on a Formica budget, I'm fried. Fried like an alligator tail at a Miami street fair. There's talk around the office, secret Slack channels and water cooler whispers, that asset management is where the real money is at. More power, more respect, better coffee. Maybe even windows that open. And honestly, I want in. Management keeps teasing us with these stories about associates pulling $170K easy, managers hitting $200K plus bonuses, and there are rumors of even bigger numbers if you head south to Florida where everything's supposedly booming. Here's the thing, asset managers in NYC are like Wall Street traders with building keys. They're gods around here, big deals, big egos, big disasters when they screw up. But in Florida, word on the street is they're snatching up buildings left and right, especially since all these hedge fund weirdos started buying beachfront condos during COVID. One day, my buddy Max, who's got more conspiracy theories about Miami than actual facts, slides into my DMs. Dude, you gotta see this job posting. Asset manager gig in Fort Lauderdale. $175K base. Relocation money, free boat SLIPS. I swear to God I laughed so hard I spilled coffee on my pants. Boat slips, is that code for something illegal? He sends me the link anyway. And because I'm one bad week away from rage quitting anyway, I apply. Fast forward 2 weeks and suddenly I'm on Zoom with a guy named Troy who calls himself an asset management visionary. He wears sunglasses indoors and there's an actual parrot screaming in the background of his condo. He says things like, "We move fast here and you gotta love risk." Troy offers me the job on the spot. No reference checks, no background check. He just asks if I own any Tommy Bahama shirts. I tell myself this is what opportunity looks like. 2 months later, I'm sweating through my button-down shirt in Fort Lauderdale trying to look cool while a realtor named Mindy toured me through my new office, which used to be a frozen yogurt shop until last year's hurricane took out half the roof. Mindy's got perfect hair and zero patience for Yankee sarcasm. She points at the collapsed drop ceiling and goes, "Yeah, we call that Florida open concept." I'm not convinced. But hey, the money is real. My first paycheck lands and it's fat as hell, even after taxes and whatever weird deduction they call hurricane mitigation. My apartment has central air that mostly works unless it rains sideways, which it does every Tuesday. There are boat slips outside my window and yes, people actually use them. But listen, this isn't just palm trees and pay raises. First red flag hits 2 weeks into my job, when Troy asks if I can drive down to check on one of their problem properties in Miami Beach because the neighbors are threatening lawsuits again. Again, he gives me an address and tells me to bring cash for the HOA president. Now pause right there. In New York, HOAs are basically board meetings full of angry old ladies with tiny dogs. In Florida, they're mob bosses in pastel golf shirts. I roll up to this condo building that looks straight out of Scarface, stucco peeling off in chunks, pool green as a margarita. But inside it smells like someone just baked cookies or maybe covered up mold with scented candles. HOA president is waiting for me by the elevator wearing flip-flops and an actual gold chain with a flamingo pendant. She says her name is Dee Dee, but everyone calls her the Duchess. "Mr. Asset Manager," she purrs, grabbing my arm way too tight for comfort. She wants $500 cash for community improvements and winks so hard her fake lashes nearly fall off. I'm sweating bullets but hand over Troy's cash anyway. Dee Dee leans in close. "You boys up north don't know how things work down here." And boy was she right. Turns out the Duchess runs this HOA like her personal fiefdom. She finds residents for everything. Drying towels on balconies, $250. Noisy flip-flops, $100. Even looking at her dog sideways, $50. Apparently there's also a coconut removal fee if you park under the wrong tree. Next day, Troy calls me at 6:30 a.m. rambling about how he needs me to massage some numbers for our next investor report. The usual stuff. Inflate occupancy rates, downplay lawsuit threats from angry snowbirds who bought timeshares before realizing their view was of an air conditioning unit. I start wondering if maybe NYC was safer even with subway rats. And just when things start feeling manageable, I get sucked into my first real Florida bidding war. Troy wants to buy this rundown motel near Hollywood Beach, calls it a hidden gem, but it smells like wet dog and despair inside. We get into a bidding war with some guy named Big Louie who shows up to inspections wearing mirrored aviators and claims he can make any code violation disappear. The seller, a retired dentist from Boca Raton who wants payment in unmarked bearer bonds or one of those fancy NFTs. At one point during negotiations, Louis corners me by the vending machine. "You ever seen a python crawl out of your toilet?" he asks, dead serious. "Happens all the time here." I just nod because honestly I wouldn't be surprised anymore. Meanwhile, Mindy, the realtor, is texting me nonstop about how there are 3 competing offers, but she can slip ours through if we agree to buy her cousin's pressure washing business as part of the deal, best driveway cleaning east of US 1. Troy tells me to make it happen, so now apparently I own 10% of SoFlo Pressure Pros LLC without ever signing anything. This is Florida real estate in a nutshell. Nothing makes sense, but hey, the sun shines most days when it isn't raining iguanas. But back at our office, frozen yogurt graveyard, the drama hits DEFCON 1 when yes, the Duchess herself, storms in with her tiny dog in tow demanding we buy new pool furniture or she'll slap us with another round of mystery fees. Troy caves, instantly sends her home with a check for $3,000 labeled Community Enhancement Grant. Later that day he confesses he doesn't actually know what asset management means but likes how it sounds at parties. No joke, I start Googling return flights to JFK every night after work. But then comes the big reveal. A rumor starts swirling that our firm is about to land an insane deal managing one of those new luxury towers going up in Brickell, except word spreads fast that the developer has been banned from 3 other states for fraud and once tried to build an indoor wave pool inside a parking garage. Troy thinks this is genius, a vertical surf park. Investors eat it up. Until city inspectors show up mid-demo and find out nobody pulled permits for half the project. Suddenly everything spirals. Our phones blow up with lawyers demanding answers. Mindy disappears from group texts. DD posts cryptic Facebook statuses about certain Yankees ruining paradise. Meanwhile, I'm fielding angry calls from snowbird condo owners furious their coconut removal fees went toward funding DD's new golf cart, complete with metallic flames painted on the side. Things hit rock bottom when SoFlo Pressure Pros get slapped with a lawsuit by Big Louie himself. Turns out his nephew owns Palm Beach Power Washers and claims we stole their secret cleaning formula. Spoiler, it's just lemon-scented bleach. My LinkedIn inbox explodes overnight. Asset managers needed for rapid growth. Earn 6 figures flipping distressed condos. Are you ready for your own reality show? Honestly, it feels like everyone here is one step away from pitching Shark Tank ideas on live TV. And let me tell you about the neighbor drama. You thought Manhattan co-op boards were brutal. Try living next door to Sheila from 3B who sprays her driveway with off mosquito repellent every morning at 6 a.m. while blasting Pitbull remixes, and then leaves passive-aggressive notes about unauthorized plants taped to your door. Or Carl, the ex-cop across the hall, who insists on giving everyone free security consultations no matter what time of day. That doormat says welcome, but what does it say to criminals? After 6 months, I've got anxiety dreams about Key West chickens breaking into my kitchen and HOA fines showing up tattooed on my arms like prison numbers. And yet, the money keeps rolling in until suddenly it doesn't. One Monday morning payroll just bounces. Troy blames banking glitches, but by Friday people are whispering about offshore accounts and SEC investigations. DD posts photos of herself vacationing in Aruba, which looks suspiciously like her backyard with some plastic palm trees stuck in planters. I go digging through old emails and realize half our contracts never actually got signed, just handshake deals sealed over rum cocktails or text messages sent after midnight. You good for $2 M on Sunrise BLVD. Send it, then Mindy reappears with bleached hair and fake tan 2 shades darker than before and drops one hell of a bombshell. Troy skipped town last night, she whispers over mojitos at Flanagan's Bar and Grill. Left his parrot behind too. Apparently he owes money everywhere from construction crews still waiting on checks to local politicians who were expecting healthy campaign donations come election season. The rumor mill kicks into overdrive. Did Troy really fake his own boating accident? Has anyone seen him at Marlins Park disguised as Mr. Met? Someone swears they saw him selling churros at Sawgrass Mills Mall, but they could have been hallucinating from too many piña coladas. All I know is nobody can find him, not even DD, who keeps calling me asking if she should file paperwork claiming squatters' rights on his yacht. The firm collapses faster than an Airbnb balcony during spring break. Phones disconnected, locks changed, lawyers circling like seagulls after spilled fries. I lose 3 months' pay overnight and apparently now own partial liability for SoFlo Pressure Pro's lemon-scented lawsuit. My apartment complex starts threatening eviction because Troy never paid our corporate lease. He said he'd Venmo them next week. Mindy lands on her feet, she always does, with some cushy gig flipping yachts for Russian oligarchs who don't care about coconut fees. Me. I'm back where I started, in another dingy rental office interviewing for property manager gigs while fielding calls from Big Louie's lawyer. Maybe we settle out of court over lunch. And just when you think things can't get messier, guess who shows up outside my building one night? It's the Duchess herself. DD stands there under the flickering street lamp holding her tiny dog like some kind of mafia boss straight out of Naples. We need someone who knows how things really work around here, she says. Ever thought about running for HOA president? And let me tell you, I have never run faster back upstairs in my life here. What nobody tells you about Florida real estate. It doesn't matter how much money they dangle or how sunny it looks on Zillow photos. Because under every palm tree there's someone hustling harder than you. Every neighbor has secrets. Every deal comes with strings. And sometimes those strings lead straight into alligator-infested waters. I still wake up some nights dreaming about coconut removal fees. Carl keeps texting me photos of suspicious doormats. Mindy sends postcards from Monaco. Wish you were here. Hope you're not bankrupt. Last week, I got an email from Troy. No subject line, just 2 words, coming back. End of message, so yeah, buckle up. Because in Florida real estate, the story never ends.